Hi class, welcome again to a communication and negotiation session with me, Ina Nuratriana. And today we will discuss about writing a report or proposal. I think most of you already have experience about how to write a report or proposal because I believe that some of you made it for a project class or for a research report or maybe like any essay based on problem solving is basically a report. So name it that I believe that many of you already have that kind of experience before. However, today we will explore more about how to write a report in an ideal way, especially in the office environment or business environment. Remember that the purpose of communication is to inform, to persuade, and to describe. If your report is like too complicated, it might be not give an ideal information for the audience. If your report is too short, it might cannot describe what you want to explain to the audience. If your report is too complicated, it might won't persuade the people or the audience that you want to. So basically, you have to create a proper and ideal report so you can inform, you can describe, and also persuade the audience. First, exploring your ideas. Basically, on writing about research, about report, about essay, you have to create a creative process. Start from researching, creating ideas, thinking, brainstorm, and also design. It's part about how to explore. First, of course, I think this is almost the same with writing in general, that you have to tout to your purpose and your audience. When you know your audience, it will make your report easily because you can having a right tone, right attitude for them, and you have to be clear on your purpose. Remember our high contact and low context culture. So if you use it in the uh, low contact, do not try to overtalk. Be clear about your purpose. And then you can design your message for the audience and you can have the best way to communicate with them. And it's also would be like very helpful for you to have brainstorming with other person, with your friend, colleague, or maybe your boss or other team. But remember, not take care not to reject ideas or impose a final order too early in your idea design process. You might found or surprisingly you find that the impossible idea is really wonderful to do. Don't try to limit your creativity at first when you brainstorm the idea. Let a wide variety of ideas come to you, mix up in any order and in any form. You will arrange the idea in the next step. For now, you have to open yourself to the possibility. And some people also use an idea circle. They create an idea circle to generate ideas. For example, whenever you need a variety of ideas on a topic, write the topic on a sheet or a paper and draw an idea circle below it. It's just kind of like you create a checklist, what kind of idea that you have, and then you write it. And then in the end, you can eliminate the idea that you think it's not suitable for your. uh, report. This is another example about how to create an idea circle of marketing ideas for vinyl bright paint. So after discussion or brainstorming, vinyl bright paint basically is like durable and washable. It's safe for children. Its application by roller. It has full range of bright color, fade resistant, and easy cleanup with water. So that's all the idea, and you can mix it, you can erase it, you can combine it, you can merge it. It's up to you, but try to write it first about the basic idea and do not limit yourself. Now try to make your idea circle. So your next report, your next task is to create a report or kind of like proposal about a new product. Okay, it's up to you what kind of new product that you want to. You can make new food ideas, make clothes ideas. You can make like paint ideas. You can make soap ideas or bicycle ideas. It's up to you. Basically, you have to create a proposal about a new product. Okay. So, what I want you to do first is make an idea circle. Like you can exercise for around 5 or 10 minutes after this, and then we will continue. Okay. I hope that you already create your idea circle. You can, if you think you need extra time, you can pause this video and then we will continue to the next concept. Okay. It's also another theme that you can use communication problem at work. If you think that a new product is more difficult, you can try this one, but it's up to you. But I think the new product will be like very refresh your concept or ideas. Next is organizing your ideas. I think you already have the pie circle ideas, so there are already like around 8 big ideas. Now try to organizing your ideas because without a pattern or with the wrong pattern, this report will be like rambles or it's kind of like messy. Or this report could be like just doesn't say anything. So this is the important part to organize your ideas. It's kind of like cluttering everywhere. So try to make it right and it will be like easier for your audience to understand your ideas in the end. There are a few examples to organize your idea. The first one is using the time pattern. You kind of like make a group based on things in the past, things at present, or things in the future. For example, from an annual report like this. In the past, we supplied area retailers with prescription pharmaceutical articles. At present, we have expanded our line to include toiletries. In the future, we want to break into the counter over the counter sales. So, in the past, at present, in the future. That the first example. The second one is about cause. You can describe the situation because of what, something like that. Like, for example, situation A caused event B. Event B is described. Then event B can be undone or repeated or furthered by what? This is the example from a claims letter. Poor direction in the mob instruction manual caused an expensive mishap because you neglected to specify that oil had to be mixed with the gasoline I had to pay 182 in repairs. Please reimburse me for the amount. You should also issue a new manual. So you basically say like, what's the problem? What I have to do to solve the problem, and then what? Something like that. So you describe the situation and the reason, and then your like mm, uh, uh, what you ask or what you want, or something like that. Emotion. You can use also emotion to explain about the report and also proposal like this. You can use terms like once I felt, things change, and now I feel, something like that to create your report like more engaged. This is a sample for a resignation letter. As a new engineer at CLT, I felt that my work would earn me respect and financial rewards. However, twice in the past 3 years, I've been passed over for raise. Therefore, I resign. So it's like very clear sentence. The problem because of he doesn't get enough respect and also financial rewards, and then he won't resign. That's very simple, something like that. It's very different than our culture that resign is something like it's not normal, it's not okay. But in here, it's very okay. And also perspective. One way to look at the topic, a second way to view it, and finally a third revealing view. Example from a proposal. I say that we'll agree that L&M Auto needs more exposure. The sales staff recommends a freeway sign. The advertiser favors a flyer. The approach here is new, a hot air balloon. Something like that. So you can try to use the perspective as well to explain about your ideas. Duh. Others say A that will Others say that A will happen. We doubt that A will happen. Here's why. So you mention about your ideas, why you doubt that, and what is the reason. Something like that. Contrast. A is not like B. A has blah blah blah, but B has blah blah blah. Only A has blah blah blah. So you basically like you want to sell A. You mention about B, however, you say that A is better, something like that. So it I use many in report or proposal as well. Reputation. A is reputed to have blah blah blah. In actuality, A does or does not have blah blah blah. As reputation is deserved or must be adjusted. So you have the facts or the reason and what your suggestion for them. And then it also like it is very used like very often variety. Item A, item A comes in this size or shape or aspect 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the example from a health club promotion. Beauty comes in different forms. First, the irrepressible natural glow of the teen. Next, the warmth of fire of young adulthood. And finally, the cultured radiance of maturity. So you kind of like explain one, two, three, or first, second, third, last, something like that. It will be easier to make people understand what is the idea. Opinion, you can use that as well. Some people say, or others claim, but most will admit something like that. So you can use another people idea, not only yours, but other people or maybe like famous people for example, it would be also good. You can use also likelihood. A is possible, B is likely, but C is certain. So it's kind of like you want to sell C basically, but you also explain A and B, but you still want to sell C, something like that. After you know how to organize your idea, I suggest you to using an outline. Using an outline, we can provide the essential backbone for business document. They don't have enough meat on their bones to get you to the long paragraphs or writing. When you're in a rush to write something for work, you may be tempted to skip an outline. Don't yield to temptation. I suggest you, like really suggest you to create an outline. It will help you. Believe me. Trust me, it's very important. You don't want to write long after that you just realize like what I even said in this paragraph. It doesn't mean anything. You don't want to do that. So outline will help you to keep on the track. This is the example of pattern topic. The example is about change in how we communicate using the past and present. The past about fastest form of communication of a longer distance survives slower forms. About so they mention about the natural world, about the technological world, present about what we send and receive, what we store and retrieve, and future more speed lies ahead about how messages are generated and how messages are transmitted. This is the first example using past present, and also future. Now, based on your idea circle, still using the pie circle, you can create an outline, a backbone. So I told you before, you can use the idea about how, about new product or new brand, or you can also use like topic about communication at work. Problem communication at work. So it's up to you now. You can create your outline backbone using several types to organize your idea. I'll give you 15 minutes from now. Okay, so I hope that's already 15 minutes. You need still time. You can just pause it and wait until 15 minutes until you finish basically. I will continue my explanation in here. I will give you some writing tips because writing proposal is easy. However, this is just some tip that you can use. First, be specific. Notice how each vague detail in the following example gains strength when transformed to a specific detail. For example, this is the fake example, yeah? Some classic automobiles have risen steeply in price in recent years. It's like too broad. I don't really understand what they want to say. What is it exactly? How price have risen? How high is it? How expensive is it? But using the specific example like this, such auto classic as the Gullwing Mercedes, the MGTD, and the Porsche Speedster have risen 400% in real dollar value since 1965. So it's really clear which kind classic automobiles, how high it's risen, and recent years from when. So it's already very clear in the second example. You have to be specific about what you want to write. Next, you have to make sure that your explanation is clearly understandable. Your readers want to hold on to the expected and familiar as they reach for new information. You have to strive to keep your details and example in touch with the common things of daily existence. I will give you the example about the difficult explanation. Our galaxy, a protracted disparate mass of stellar bodies and fibrous amalgams arranged along a single plane revolves in space. Okay, you can try to write clever or smart or even genius, but if your audience doesn't understand what you mean, it's a nothing in communication. It's not how communication works. Do not try to use a difficult word, a very technical word. Just use things that people commonly use. For example, in here, the Milky Way. It's countless stars drawn together into a shape not unlike an immense flatted air revolves in space. You just like basically want to explain what is the Milky Way. Something like that. So try to make your explanation clear and sharp and short. Do not try to write too long. Brief. Although your examples should be short, they should still contain vivid details. To keep on track with your writing, omit the information that is marginal in terms of your basic purpose. This is the example of too long explanation. To prepare for the upcoming conference, the planning committee broke into three teams of two and spent the budget of 1,000 on the following items. And then you put the detailed items. I think that's too long. You want to inform, but choose what kind of information that you want to put in detail. You can like compare the next example, the brief one. To prepare for the upcoming conference, the planning team spent $1,000 on catering service, printed materials, and speaker fees. That's enough. You don't have to mention the food, beverage, service staff, print agenda, folders, speaker, and team speaker. Like, there's too many. Really, I don't want to know that. Basically, I want to see the big item only and what is in general. Next is a focus. It's very difficult when you don't have skeleton. You don't have an outline. So it's very important to create a skeleton or outline to keep you focused. Studies of attention spans and reading patterns show how often readers pause, lose track, retrace, and even skip large passages of writing. Therefore, you should go out of your way to focus on your key point. Notice how the first example lacks such guidance. This is the example of aimless explanation. Few coal miners participate in the Grants for Education program. I work until 6 o'clock every night. Saturdays, we drove to my parents' house. Sundays, I watch baseball. I didn't have time. That's all. What is the meaning? What he want to say? What he want to propose or suggest? I really don't get the idea. This is the example of the focus explanation. Few coal miners participated in the Grants for Education program. Brad Jolson, 28, is the DH, explained why he turned down a 2,500 grant. I worked until 6 o'clock every night. Saturdays we drove to my parents' house. Sunday I watched football. I didn't have time, that's all. Okay, so basically it's talking about same thing. That Brad really busy. He didn't have any time. So it really doesn't make sense for him to apply for the grants for education program because he really doesn't have that much time for himself. Okay, so now I want you to create your problem solving skeleton report or proposal. It can be about communication problem at work or new product. development. It's up to you. It's more about the exercise, but I don't need you to submit the report as long you exercise to create a minimum the skeleton of your ideas, because it would be very helpful for you, because it also be discussed and also be the content for your presentation. The presentation is not now actually. It still will be our material for next week, because we already finished the writing uh, parts. We finished the listening, we finished the writing, and now we will continue to speaking. So don't forget to make your own talks to make you are more powerful on writing report, and we'll see you again next week. Bye bye.